Welcome to Davy the Goat Stories. If you like what you hear, feel free to comment story recommendations and feedback. Now sit back, grab your popcorn and enjoy.
The old house settled around Alex like a shroud. Its silence was heavy, oppressive, broken only by the rhythmic drumming of rain against the windowpane and the occasional groan of ancient timber. He was house-sitting for his aunt, a temporary escape from his cramped city apartment, but after 3 days, the solitude was starting to feel less like peace and more like a presence. It was just past midnight when the first sound came. A soft, distinct thump from upstairs. Alex froze, his hand halfway to his mug of cooling tea. He listened, holding his breath. Nothing. Only the rain. He told himself it was the house, settling as old houses did. He took a slow sip of tea, the ceramic warm against his palm. Then it came again. A lighter sound this time, a scrape, as if something had been dragged across a wooden floor. It was undeniably from the master bedroom directly above him. A room his aunt had warned him to avoid, locked since her husband's death years ago. A prickle of unease crawled up his spine. He put the mug down, the clink loud in the overwhelming quiet. "Hello," he called out, his voice sounding ridiculously small in the vast living room. Silence answered him, thick and impenetrable. Alex picked up his phone, the screen casting a pale, comforting glow on his face. He scrolled through contacts, unsure who he'd even call. His aunt was on a cruise, out of signal. His friends would laugh. He tried to rationalize it. A branch hitting the roof. A rat in the attic. But the scrape had been too deliberate, too specific to a floor. His gaze drifted to the staircase, a dark maw leading up into deeper shadows. Every creak and groan of the house now sounded amplified, sinister. He could almost feel eyes on him, though the house was empty, save for him. Suddenly the lights flickered. Once, twice, then steadied. Alex's heart hammered against his ribs. He stood up slowly, his muscles taut. He had to check. He knew he did. He couldn't spend the rest of the night wondering. He grabbed the heavy, ornate poker from beside the fireplace, more for comfort than actual defense. Each step he took towards the stairs felt like wading through treacle. The old wood groaned under his weight, echoing the sounds he'd heard. He paused at the bottom of the stairs, peering into the gloom above. The air upstairs felt colder, heavier. A faint, almost imperceptible scent hung in the air. Metallic like old pennies, mixed with something else, something cloying and sweet. He started up, one slow step at a time, the poker held out in front of him. The shadows danced around him, cast by the single dim light bulb in the hall below. Halfway up, a whisper seemed to drift down to him, so faint he couldn't make out words, but it was there, a breath against his ear. He froze, his skin prickling. His breath caught in his throat. He strained his ears, but the sound was gone, replaced by the relentless rain and the frantic beat of his own heart. Hallucinations. Sleep deprivation. Nerves. He reached the top landing. The master bedroom door was ajar. Just a sliver, but enough to see the impenetrable darkness within. He was certain it had been locked. His aunt was meticulous. A sudden, sharp rap came from inside the room. It wasn't loud, but it was clear like knuckles on wood. Alex nearly dropped the poker. He stood rooted, staring at the sliver of darkness. He swallowed hard, his throat dry. He pushed the door open, slowly, cautiously, just enough to peer inside. The room was utterly black, the faint light from the hall not penetrating its depths. He raised the poker, his knuckles white. "Hello," he rasped, his voice trembling uncontrollably. No answer. Only the rain. The overwhelming, oppressive silence of a room that should be empty, but felt undeniably occupied. He could feel it, a presence, cold and ancient, just beyond his sight. Then a faint rhythmic creak began. Soft, methodical sound. He strained his eyes, trying to pierce the darkness. The sound grew, a steady, deliberate rhythm. Tweak, tweak, tweak. It was the rocking chair. His aunt's old rocking chair. It was rocking, and no one was in it. Alex's breath hitched. He felt a cold dread seep into his bones, colder than the room, colder than the rain outside. He stumbled back, a choked gasp escaping his lips. He spun around, scrambling down the stairs, not caring about the noise he made. He burst out the front door, slamming it shut behind him, plunging the house back into darkness. The rain lashed at him, but he barely registered it. He fumbled with his car keys, his hand shaking so violently he could barely get the key into the ignition. He started the engine, the roar of it too loud, too sudden. He peeled out of the driveway, gravel spitting, not daring to look back. He drove until the old house was a distant, dark silhouette against the storm-swept horizon. But even then, miles away, he could still hear it in the echoing silence of his mind, the rhythmic, unnatural creak, 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 of a rocking chair alone in the dark.
Thank you all for sticking around till the end. Feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a comment on what other stories you want me to write about. Davey the Goat out.